Well, hi guys, it's Peter out again. He's out in the woods. He's out in the woods. Actually, I'm on a small footpath into some new woodland I'm exploring. I think I need to change my woodland. The woods I go to are quite good, but the foraging potential is pretty poor, and there's a lot of work going on at the moment in those woods as far as the cutting of laurel and the rhododendron back. So I'm trying these. It's about 3/4 of an hour walk from where I live. Long time since I've been into this woodland, a long time. In fact, come to think of it, I've never been to this side of the woods. Over that way, just through there, is the A228, and on the right hand side is a small housing estate. And it's just having an explore, see what I can find, somewhere new to go. Well, a bit further into the woodland. It's called Marshley Harbour Woods, and apparently by agreement, according to the sign on the way in, we are welcome to walk the woods. I'll retract my earlier statement. This is coppiced woodland, as you can see by the way that I think this is sweet chestnut. Yep, looking at leaves on the ground, this is all sweet chestnut. So majority of this woodland, if it's not coppiced in the next few years, will be destined for fence paling and sort of garden furniture work. It's quite interesting, the old coppice side of the business. Unfortunately, being as it's coppiced woodland, it's going to be quite densely packed, and there won't be so much in the way of wild edibles. Woodland isn't as open. There's some remnants of the coppice work. And in fact, you can see some stalls up here. I'm not sure what these stalls are, but they've definitely been cut back. And yeah, it's not too bad. It's quite nice. It's quite an open bit of ride here. I do believe on this side of the A21 there is wild boar. So I'm keeping the doggy on a bit of a leash this morning. I don't want him chasing one down. Or if he does, at least I want him to grab it by the throat so I can have some fresh boar meat, which is actually quite nice. I like wild boar. Cooks up very well. It's like a very intense pork. But anyway, this is it. I mean, this is Marshley Harbour Woods, and it looks very good. There looks like a bit of some ash through there as well. And there's a couple of signs up about Chalara, which is ash dieback. And that's decimating a lot of the ash plantations around Kent. Some of the trees are surviving and some aren't. It's a bit like Dutch elm disease. Trees over a certain height or under a certain height didn't survive, while others did. It's a fungal borne infection. Both Chalara and Dutch elm disease are both fungal borne infections. The Dutch elm disease, the fungi, is introduced by a beetle. The Chalara is windborne, and it's decimated a lot of plantations. But other than that, it's quite a nice piece of woodland. I'm really glad I put the effort into going further. Anyway guys, I'm just going to have a wander. It's nice through here, it really is very nice. And when I have a break, we'll have a chat. Right, as I pan around, you can see this is worked coppice. This must have been done about 2 years ago, I should think, compared to the previous scene, which hasn't been worked. As you can see, there's stalls, and they're down to grow back, and in about between 10 to 20 years time, it'll be ready to harvest again. Coppice work was always a long-term thing. It isn't done on the scale that it used to be, partly because of the way we live now. We don't require the wood products that we once needed. There's lots more to this than meets the eye, but it's mostly done on an amateur basis now, unfortunately. But there you go guys, this is worked coppice. As you can see, it opens up the woodland a little bit, which allows anything on the understory to grow up a bit. Wildflowers, a few edibles maybe, and it's great. Anyway, Well, I've gone through the plantation of coppice work, mostly chestnut coppice, and here we've got a plantation of conifers. Conifers you cannot coppice. You just chop them down and they won't grow back. Strange. But it's also given me an idea, a new place for us, place to go for stealth camping. It seems to be quite nice here. I think quite a few people come through here walking their dogs, judging by the amount of paw prints on the rides, and they weren't boar prints or fox prints. I know someone's obviously been here. There's a bit of a shelter made up. Not very big, but someone's had an attempt. It happens a lot in the woods I go into. There's lots of bits of shelter building going on. People build shelters, but I wouldn't trust them. They wouldn't keep the rain out. A shelter, if you're building one, has got to keep the rain out. But it looks a good place to come camping. Good place for an overnight. It's actually quite nice in here. Reminds me a little bit of parts of the Lake District. Anyway guys, well, there we go. Someone's been shelter building a fallen sweet chestnut, and they put a load of logs across the top, and they probably slept underneath. The only trouble is it won't keep the rain out. But all power to their elbow, and the leaflet around here is pretty crap, so that wouldn't even help. But they'll make a nice bench somewhere to skip along the top with a padded mattress. Well, this is in case of forest fires. Helps to put the fire out. One reason why I don't like having open fires very much nowadays is because of that potential. As it's mostly sweet chestnut round here, and it does spit rather phenomenally well. But it's nice to see, and it's nice to see them intact. Sometimes you see them broken and people just sort of cast them to one side, but seems to be a responsible landowner around here. It's rather nice. In fact, I'm really enjoying this piece of woodland. Really enjoying it. Well, just found something I've been on the lookout for. It's a dormant stage at the moment, and underneath there are lots and lots of wood ants. A good foraging source if you're into that sort of thing. But it's an amazing, the whole mound come summer will be just alive. It will be crawling and seething. And Alfie doesn't like them. They get up between his paws and tickle his feet. Good source though. There's quite a few around here. Just starting to pick them out. There's one a bit further down the track. And of course, the green woodpeckers love them. They love a nice juicy wood ant. And if you watch one of Ramir's programs, particularly where he's out in Belarus, you see him eating wood ants. He shows you how to catch them. But I haven't got my tart with me, and they're quite dormant at the moment. Right, there you go guys. Right. As a first wild edible for today, it's the only one I've found so far. It's a young shoot off the blackberry bush, and bizarrely this tastes very much like coconut, and is actually far more refreshing than the ones I picked the other day from my back garden. It was really nice. Just finished chomping one. So there you go, blackberry and the tender taste of coconut. Well, hello everyone. Previous scenes you saw me coming into a place called Marshley Harbour Woods. Never been here before, and it's been quite a nice look around. As I mentioned, one or two places could be used for stealth camping. In fact, over that way near to the A228 there seems to be a mountain bike track which you need a permit for, which is a bit bizarre. I didn't even know I was on the track until I got to the end of it, and sort of thing, no public access, you know, mountain bike track, permit uses only. Well, but other than that, it's a very nice piece of woodland. Not much in the way of early wild edibles as yet. Plenty of blackberry bushes, and I had a few nibbles of the old blackberry itself, or the young shoots, which, as I mentioned, taste bizarrely like coconut. No ramblers and very little else. Now I'm hoping that this might turn up tea, of course, turn up some good fungi in the autumn. It's got that feel about it. There's plenty of conifer here, a bit of spruce, a bit of Scots pine, and that maybe give me some fungi, maybe some penny buns, and some of the coppice has been worked. Some, as I mentioned earlier, it's about 2 years old. Further up, where I had a 5-minute sit down, there was coppice there that was probably done last year. It's quite young growth. Nothing's in leaf yet, so it looks quite barren and quite bare. But other than that, it looks a good piece of woodland. As I said, maybe a bit of stealth camping, which I want to get into. I want to do a bit more this year. I'm reining in on going on the courses this year, partly because of the finances. They can prove extremely expensive over the course of a year. I enjoy doing the courses, but you know, my personal situation changed a couple of years back, and I have other things to factor into my life which are a bit more important, you know, like having a wife and what have you. I'm happily married and I want to remain so. So Avalon doesn't mind me going away. I want to do some more solo stuff. I've sort of developing a bucket list in my head of places I want to visit. Get out. I want to go to Dartmoor, spend a couple of nights there, get up to Scotland a bit more, and up into the Lake District on my own account rather than with Woodsmoke. But I'm enjoying it. Around here, as I say, it's beautiful. I can still hear the A228. You know, you've got that rumble of the traffic, and that way you've got a big housing estate, which is part of Pembury. Quite sandy soil around here, and I think it would be good for a night out, particularly in the pine woodland. It's a little bit more open. Getting down to the mineral earth is quite easy there, so maybe an open fire, I don't know. But other than that, it's very nice, very, very nice around here. Sort of outdoorsy wise, I haven't done a lot. I felt a bit under the weather lately. Bit blah, you know, not exactly flu, not exactly a cold, not quite sure what it is, but, you know, it's just, I just felt really, really out of sorts. And even work wise, you know, I was finding it really hard to hammer down with my work at where I do my job. Not a lot else to say really. Getting on with the weaving. I'm finding the card weaving that I'm doing, which has little square cards, tablet weaving they call it. I'm finding it a bit difficult, but I think it's the yarn I've used. But I'm going to go back and hook up the inkle and the inkle loom and get on with some more band weaving. I've got some ideas to use the bands. I'm thinking of making a wall coat. I'm still thinking about it, but things like this jacket, I've got some other jackets indoors, I might trim, you know, put the bands on there, and I'll carry my knife and my saw in a little bag in my rucksack, and I'm thinking of making a bag special for that and then trimming that off with some of the colour bands. The craft side is I'm slowly getting into that. Some days I get in from work and I'm so plumb knackered that I just zonk out. But it's I'm just trying to do more craft work this year. But as I say, cheers guys. There's not a lot to say today. Alfie's been with me today. He's been a good little hound. Apart from he got into his stubborn terrier bit, and he wanted to go one way and I wanted to go the other. But I just walk off, and he ended up following in the end. As I say, not bad. It's very cold today. My hands are feeling. I've had to wear gloves today. I do feel the cold a bit more, and it's quite a rawness to the air today. Oh, and tomorrow night, because I'm recording this on the 19th, on the 20th, which is tomorrow, there's a 98% solar eclipse, and unfortunately, because of that up there, that grey cloud will be still over us tomorrow. We will miss it. Such is life, c'est la vie. But onwards and upwards. A few shout outs I think to Simon. I saw I didn't reply to your last email, partly due to my just seeing time fritter away, you know, it just disappears. Just to Simon, Mo, Sandy, you're great guys. Enjoy watching your vids. I do apologise to people that do message me on my videos and I don't always reply. It's just sometimes I keep meaning to reply and I just think, oh, I'll do that in a minute, and the minute slips by into hours into days, and before I know it, a couple of weeks and a couple of months has gone by. So I do take the messages on board, and I do enjoy getting them, and at some point I'd like to meet up with a few of you guys, well, particularly the ones in the UK. Getting to places like Canada, the States and what have you is a bit out of my pocket at the moment, and it's and there's so much to explore in this country. Anyway guys, salut.